Well, guys, we have something a little bit different for you today. That's right, we have a Supra in the garage. As you can see, no motor in this one right now. This is a 95 hardtop car, and I'm just doing some work on it for a buddy of mine. I'm gonna kind of get it basically set up, engine and trans in the car, a couple other small things, figure out the shifter. The eagle-eyed among you may notice the mounts and have some idea of what's going on here. But for those who don't, here's the engine and trans for it. So this is an all-aluminum 6.2 LS motor. I think all he really has done to it is a cam. It has the Sicky headers, which are very nice units. 862 heads. I don't think anything is real special with the heads. I think it just has lifters or maybe a trunnion upgrade. Not 100% sure on that. This was all how I got it from him. F-body oil pan. The trans is a 6L80E. So the electronic kind of 6-speed transmission. I think it's a Circle D converter. I got some parts over here. So a Circle D converter, low car shifter, a couple other things over here for it. But yeah, I'm going to be doing an LS swap in a Supra, which should make some people absolutely nuts. I can tell you guys, I love Supras. I've always loved Supras. I specifically like white hardtop Supras with black interiors, which is exactly what this car is. And having it in my garage makes me want one way more than I did before, which was already a lot. It's also interesting how subtle the differences are between the SC and a Supra once you have them here side by side. There's some stuff that's exactly the same, there's some stuff that's slightly different, and then there's some stuff that's completely different. But anyway, I'm gonna do some videos on this, getting this all ready to go for him. I'm going to start with the shifter. I know the transmission takes up a lot of space. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see, but he's done a lot of massaging on the tunnel to make this transmission fit. He's had the engine and trans in here, but it doesn't have a trans mount. That's kind of my main goal, is to build the transmission mount. But I'm also gonna get everything in here kind of permanently. So I'm starting with the shifter. I gotta take the stock shifter out, figure out what's up with this new shifter, and get it situated in the car. Up on top of the car is actually another shifter bezel, an OEM manual shifter bezel, I believe. This car was originally an NA auto car. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kind of get you guys set up on the other side here, get the stock shifter out, and then try and figure out how I'm gonna mount the new shifter, trying to get the cable run, so that when I have the transmission in there, I don't have to worry about trying to get access to the top. So let's get to it. That was way easier than expected. He already had the shifter pretty much out. There was just the 2 bolts in the front were still kind of sitting in there, but everything was unplugged. Plus, I had just taken the shifter out of my SC. Very similar, so no big deal. So here's the stock shifter. It's a pretty bulky unit, as you can tell. It's got a big long linkage that comes down. There's a pretty good sized hole in the floor right underneath it. Lots of switches and all kinds of goodness on there. And this is the low car that he got, which is actually more compact than I thought it was going to be. Here's the cable for it. Here's all your hardware and everything, and then the shifter itself. Quickly glancing at the instructions, the cable attaches here, from what I know. And then you're definitely gonna have a neutral safety, a reverse, and then this is an electronic trans, so I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to see, but you have park reverse, neutral drive, and then a plus and a minus. So you could manually shift it up and down. So I'm guessing one of these sets of wires is, at least one of these sets of wires is for that. Again, I'm gonna have to read through the instructions, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be too bad. I'm guessing I'm just going to make a plate that'll bolt into the factory holes because they're definitely further out than these mounts. And then I'll probably just do, I don't know if I'm going to bolt it through or do inserts and bolt this down to the plate. And then that should be it. And then I just got to figure out where I'm going to run the cable through and should be all set. So I'm going to stare at this for a little bit and kind of figure some stuff out. And I'll bring you guys back when I have something. All right, guys, it might be a little bit dark in here, but shifter is mounted. Nothing too fancy. I just made a plate that bolts in to the stock locations in 4 spots. I got some stainless Allen screws. And then I just bolted the shifter down to it using the hardware that came with the kit. Pretty simple. Shifter cable comes out of the back, which is actually nice. I'm going to see about getting it down with the e-brake cable. And obviously I don't have the trim in here right now, but it actually works with the manual bezel and the auto bezel. Probably hard to see, but it fits around both of those. I do need to trim just a little bit of the bottom on the manual bezel, just because back here is kind of bulky, but it fits. So now I'm gonna start putting the motor together so I could get it in the car. All right, guys, now that the shifter's installed, I do still need to run the cable, but I'll do that later. I'm gonna start getting everything ready to get the motor and trans into the car. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to get it in the car today. I had to order some trans fluid to fill the converter. I ordered bell housing bolts. I think he had some, but I just got it set just to be on the safe side so I'm not stuck. And just a couple other small things, so that's all gonna be here tomorrow. So today I'm gonna grind down and clean up where he cut the rear brace. I don't even wanna call it a cross member. This is your main cross member. So I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit, throw some paint on it so it looks nicer. He didn't want me to plate it in or anything like that. And then couple things to the motor. I gotta install the freeze plug. I'll probably put the headers on it. I'll put the flex plate on. Just get ready to bolt the engine and trans together tomorrow once I get the fluid for the converter and the bolts. Then I can drop everything in. I'll probably put the mounts on the motor too while I'm at it. So I'm gonna move you guys over, get you on a time lapse and get to work.